subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so that you never miss an episode. With that, let's get started.
Okay, so after hearing Dean's body, we still don't know where Dean's body is, but we do know that they left a party and Dean's car was found, bracelets were found by a tin, and a map as well that was in the ground. That's when Harper hands him a map. The map looks like a little tattered and is ripped. It is a very complex map on the whole entire town with an X near the edge of town. And on the back is a simple riddle. He went to the woods, or he went in the woods and got it. He couldn't get it, so he left it. When he left home, he took it with him. What is it? In small handwriting, the map stated that the only way to find Dean was by solving the riddle. So he would have to find the key to find Dean.
Okay. So, Jack spent 4 days trying to figure out a logical answer to the riddle, but he couldn't think of one. So he decided to try and find the body without it. But we all know how this goes, and so we know that without the answer to the riddle, he would never find anything, which he didn't. And all he got from that one trip was a splinter from his shovel. A splinter. That was the answer to the riddle. So that hit Jack after he had spent 4 days looking for it. The simple answer, splinter. Okay? So Jack was so relieved to find the answers so he could start looking for the body. He called in his 3 colleagues this time, and they all went searching in the woods, and they noticed a few letters carved into the trees. These letters were kind of random, and they seemed very odd, but yet normal at the same time, because a lot of people carve letters into the trees. So they didn't really think anything of it. And so they kept walking. And as they were walking, Scott, one of his colleagues, pointed out that that the letters on the way there could spell a hidden word. So they started writing down every single letter that they passed. And that's when they realized that it spelled splinter. And then Scott also pointed out that there were very small letters written on the trees in the map near the X. And those letters spelled splinter, which they may need for later. So Jack knew they were close. So they kept walking and looking and everything. They recorded basically everything they saw. And so until they came upon a tree marked with a D, which wasn't in the sequence on the map or isn't in the word splinter. So Jack assumed it was Dean's burial spot. So the simple riddle, he went in the woods and got it. He couldn't get it, so he left it. When he went home, he took it with him. What is it? Stumped Jack so badly. It seems as though he wouldn't be smart enough or have the solving skills to solve this at this point. It seems way too much for just a couple people. So he So when he came upon the tree marked with a D and assumed it was Dean's burial spot, he was wrong. Um, it was another part of the kids' tricks. So they went back to the to see the suspects, and they told him that there were several trees marked with letters that wouldn't go with the word, that could help them, but also might not help them. So, obviously, they went back out and looked for those trees, and the word spelled Dean. But which tree or what did Splinter and Dean have to do with one another? Which letter would Dean be buried under if he was buried under a letter at all? So those are all questions that we have. Obviously, it seems a little awkward that Harper gave him a map to where Dean's body is. Like, why would they record that in the first place if they didn't want to get caught? Because obviously the New Springs Police Department would have come in and questioned each one of them back in 1987 when they were teenagers, and which could have led to a room search if it was like permitted or whatever. But like, so why would they keep that map? And since it seemed really dirty, was it buried somewhere, or was it even? Could it have even been buried with Dean? Like, I mean, that's or in the abandoned house, which Jack and his men haven't visited yet, but they probably should because
they could find a bunch of evidence in there. Like, I feel like ever since Dean was taken into that abandoned house, I feel like everyone left some piece of evidence somewhere in there, because when you're doing something like this, a bunch of criminals, what they do is when they drop a dead body or when they're hiding something, they're running so fast and they're going so fast that they leave things behind them they don't need to. Like, for instance, in some shows that you watch, they'll be hiding some, like a dead body, or they'll be doing something, or even killing someone and trying to run away before, like, as the cops are being called. And they will have a hair tie, and maybe their hair tie fell off their wrist, or their earrings fell out, or something like that, or even like a piece of hair that gets left behind. If the investigators come and find that, and they take that in for DNA, and they DNA test it, and they find out exactly who it is, that person's going to be caught. So it doesn't matter if you leave the biggest item. Like, you don't have to leave like a can with your saliva on it for someone. You can leave as much as a little hair, and they will DNA test it, and they will see who all was there. And if it's only one piece, or if it's multiple pieces that match up with the same person from each DNA test, then they're going to find you and they know who you are due to that DNA testing.
So, I mean, they obviously could have left something in that house. Also, could Dean's body still be there?
Mm-hmm.
At least some sort of like skeleton, because his body probably would have decomposed in 23 years. So, I mean, those are all questions that we would have. So we wonder what the word splinter has anything to do with the case. Obviously.
Honestly, I feel like it could have a lot, because I wonder if the house is wooden.
Yes, yeah, probably.
Like if there's wood that, like, the woods, like, because they were in the woods, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if they were in the woods, somebody could have got a splinter or something like that, or they were showing step by step where his car was not in the woods. Splinter kind of makes it look like wood, and the car was in the woods. Mm-hmm. So Splinter, or even the house.
I mean, it honestly could have been like Dean was kind of like a splinter, like he was kind of like always bothered. Like they could have, like, I mean, obviously to do this to him and to admit it, like they must have had a reason. So was Dean like some kind of annoyance, or like did he bother them a lot?
He's like
So
an
was
oddball.
or was he like a splinter
Mhm.
in their hand, like always throbbing and bothering them? So like
That kind of brings me because like the whole time like at the party when he wanted to leave,
Mhm.
as you're saying like the splinter, I kind of feel like he was getting on their nerves so much that they had nothing else to do but just beat him because they were sick of it. And I feel like maybe he's done it for so long that they finally just had all that anger built up of what he's done, and they just let it all out because he kept doing it and he kept adding everything on.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye guys.
Bye.